On October 31st, 2024, something happened which changed the world. The New Norm Episode 2 was released. Now, the first thing I want to note is the disclaimer for this episode. Disclaimer: this cartoon is a satirical masterpiece. Any resemblance to real persons, living or dead, and all characters and events in the show are fictional and protected by the First Amendment. Free speech! By the home of Free Speech X, headed by ex-chief free speech champion and great dancer, Elon Musk. So grab some popcorn, chill, and remember, it's okay to laugh. In fact, it's downright American to pursue your happiness. Enjoy the show, share it with friends and frenemies, and thank you for doing your part to make America funny again. Don't let anyone accuse them of being too humble. An oddly boastful statement for a show that couldn't even find its audience among people who agreed with it politically. It's also a humorous amount of arrogance given what happened to Woke World. There's a Twitter thread on this I'll link in the notes. However, for those unaware, the New Norm is based off of a webcomic called Woke World. Said comic is actually very difficult to find because its URL was excluded from the Wayback Machine. However, that does not mean the comics are completely unfindable. One Twitter user in particular, the one who wrote the aforementioned thread, actually managed to compile quite a few examples of the comics. Here are some examples of what they looked like. We open with Norm having breakfast. What's that, Janice? Pancake syrup. It's different. What happened to Aunt Jemima? 2020 happened to Aunt Jemima. Norman, Aunt Jemima's gone to a better place. A better place than my stomach? You do know you don't eat the mascot when you consume a product, right, Norm? What's that? Vegan sausage. Janice, I want regular sausage. It's too dangerous, Norm. I'll decide what's too dangerous to eat. No, the butcher shop is too dangerous with those animal rights rioters. You know, a lot of these comics are just Norm not liking changes to food. And given the New Norm started with him saying he didn't like a minor aesthetic change to the can of his beer, well, that seems to be a recurring character trait for him. Here's another food-related one. The world is woke now, Daddy. How come when your generation gets woke, my generation wakes up without Aunt Jemima syrup? Side note, her generation would also wake up without that syrup. And did they change the recipe, Norm? Because if not, it should be the same. How about honey? Honey exploits bees. This is a nightmare I can't woke up from. Okay, admittedly, that's kind of clever. Tell me these eggs ain't vegan. I don't know why I dislike it other than the fact that my diet is so specific. Monk is telling me to loosen up a bit. They're free range, meaning the hens get to go where they want and do what they want. I wish I was free range, but unfortunately, as an adult man, I have less right to be wherever I want and do whatever I want than chickens do. This was eventually turned into an animated pilot, and if you didn't think I was going to show you it, you are surely mistaken.
Your son is transitioning?
Worse, he's dating a white guy.
So the animation is terrible, and the first thing we hear is both transphobic and racist.
Woke World, an animated sitcom.
My son was bad at boys' sports, but as a girl,
He could dominate the lady leagues.
I'm here with toxically masculine, science-denying, horse dewormer-addled Joe Rogan.
Who looks incredibly short for some reason. Still, who would pass up the chance to be with News Radio's Joe Rogan?
And synchronized swimming trans athlete.
that's my boy. Girl.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
I'm sorry, how tall is Charlie's kid? Because they are towering over both Joe Rogan and Chaz.
Facts don't care about your pronouns.
No pinkies in the girls' pool.
If you believe that girls are girls and boys are boys, text your donation to
whatever funded my obviously used text-to-speech software. I haven't even gotten into things like the possible connection this show has to the Russian government through Tenet Media, primarily because those are just accusations to my understanding. I'm not even 100% sure what the New Norm's connection to Tenet Media is. Again, this series existed long before Tenet Media did. For those unaware, it was started in 2022. So the idea this is some sort of psyop, although a funny meme, is not something that the facts back up. Anyway, I went on for all that time, and I haven't even discussed the episode that came out. So join me in part 2, where I actually do that.